Welcome. I'm Dr. Lisa Toppin, and you are joining me for Blazing Your Path. So delighted to welcome you, and I am delighted to present today a conversation with Lavencia Ferguson, owner of Citizens of Heaven, a lifestyle apparel brand. So excited to talk with her. I have known Lavencia for a few years, and hearing and seeing her now launch this apparel brand is just it's a story we got to tell. I'm so excited to talk with her and so excited for you to learn all about her. Welcome, Valencia.
Hi, welcome everybody. I'm excited to speak with you today, Dr. Lisa, and I think that this will be a great conversation that many will find interesting and hopefully find some inspiration in.
I know they will. I know they will. So let's get right into it. Tell us about your background.
So I grew up in a small town called Laurinburg, North Carolina. That's south of here, Charlotte. And I grew up with my grandmother in and around church almost 7 days a week. So I do have that background, which kind of will lead into the brand here later. But I grew up there. I graduated and went to college at North Carolina Central University and got a degree in business administration, and then began my adult career working from credit unions to collections to all the way up into customer service, where my last role was in marketing at LPL Financial. So now I am a business fashion designer and business owner full time. So
that's so great. That's so great. When I met you, you were in customer service, trying to sort of figure out if there was a path to marketing. And so that's where we came to know of each other. And that's when I learned that you were dreaming of starting an apparel business, a lifestyle apparel business. And so just to learn that you've actually now done it is already amazing to me. And so tell me, so how did you actually get to the place where you could leave corporate America, as it were, and really launch your business? What was that process like?
Well, I was already working on the business while I was working in corporate America. So I was in a role and the path was just not aligning. That's just the easiest way to put it. What I thought was going to be the dream job was just not, it just wasn't working out, simply put. And so even in that role, there were things that I learned about marketing a different way, but I would say, I guess the strategies and the ways that I wanted to market that I felt like, could be impactful. Those were not the responsibilities that I had within that role. And so even though I feel like it was an easy job, I feel like maybe it just wasn't the right place for me to be. And some things it just took a decline. And so in the end of February, when my job ended, it was like, okay, you have your business. You've been saying it won't be long. Like, I really think I spoke it into existence because I kept saying and telling people, I was like, well, it's not going to be much longer. I'm going to be able to do this, because I could see, even though I saw a decline in my corporate career, I started to see an incline in my business. So it worked out.
It worked out. And I love what you're saying in terms of sort of speaking it into fruition. I think that, so often we don't really talk about the journey up. We just look at people and see what we're going to think is an overnight success, but you've been working at it. You've been thinking about it and putting energy into it, and all those sort of the corporate piece didn't work out the way you were hoping. I'm gonna say that there was some serendipity in that, because it really allowed you to then pivot and focus where you are right now, which is where you ultimately wanted to be. So I think that's an important part of the story. So now what scared you the most in terms of actually launching?
Um, I guess getting out of the comfort zone, being comfortable with working a job, whether it was going good or bad, you show up, you're gonna get a check.
Right.
So it was like, okay, if I do this, like yes, it's starting to climb uphill, but how will I make my money? Like, how will I get paid? How will I be able to maintain my livelihood of paying my bills at the minimum? Um, and I was like, okay, I should just do it. It'll work, whatever. And so I went for months with like nothing coming in. Thankfully, I, had some leftover from working, but I just kept working. And then that fear subsided as things went along, and I didn't have time to focus on the fear. I only had to worry about the future. So,
Oh, that's a really good insight. Because as you were talking, I was thinking that there was a faith part of this
yes,
walk with
I really
you.
had to step out on faith.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I can say I applied to hundreds of jobs. I interviewed, and it got to the point where I told one of the last recruiters, I said, "Look, if you think I'm a good fit, submit me. Don't ask me if I'm a good fit." I said, "You call me every now and then with the opportunity, and then I don't hear anything else." I said, "If you feel like I'm good, I've already given you everything I have to show you what I can or can't do. I just need the role." And I said, "If you think I'm good, you submit me." I was fed up.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
fed up and nothing was coming through. Like, I mean, I had one where I probably did 3 interviews and didn't get it. And now in hindsight, it's like, you weren't supposed to.
We're supposed to.
And I had friends that were like, "Girl, why are you interviewing? Why are you still interviewing?" One friend was like, "Don't apply to another job." She's like,
Right.
"You have been saying you wanted to do this. You can take your computer, you can go on a vacation and work from your computer." Because at this time I didn't have a store yet. So it was like, why are you applying? You don't need these jobs. You have what you said you wanted.
Right.
And so it was like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I sometimes that's so great that your community, like your friends and the people around you can see sometimes what you can't see and help push you in the direction that you need to go, because it is hard and scary. And so that's good. It sounds like you got a good lot of friends and a good lot of folks around you. So that's good. So now, what have you learned about this entrepreneurial process? Because part of what we try to accomplish in Blazing Your Path is not only sort of highlighting your tremendous story, but in that, hopefully to encourage and inspire and inform others who are thinking about this. So what did you discover about the entrepreneurial process, maybe that you didn't know as you were launching, as people were telling you, don't apply for more jobs, get out here? What'd you get?
I would say one thing I gained was more confidence in myself and in my brand. Because it takes along with faith, it still takes confidence in yourself to know that you have something, you have an idea, you have something that can be great. And so I gained more confidence in what I was doing. And I also learned it's not overnight. There's so many gurus that I listened to during the quarantine period, and I just saw these Black people winning, women especially in business, were launching businesses because maybe they weren't working, and now was the time to do that thing. And it was like, oh, they launched this, and now they've made $1 million their first month, or in a day, or in their first year of business. And it was like, okay, I can do this, but it's not overnight.
Right.
That's
not
really overnight. The success, I mean, it takes many days, months, and years to become an overnight success. Right. And although I had moments of overnight success, it's not consistent. And so the thing is, remain confident, be consistent in what it is that you're doing, and then the end result will be even greater. And so,
yeah, you gotta stay the course for sure. So now tell me, why clothes?
I've always been into fashion. Since I was young, I just remember going shopping and just looking back on pictures, everything matched. My shirt, my overalls, my socks, my shoes. I was always dressed since a toddler. From what I can remember, and even like remembering elementary and middle, definitely in high school, I really wanted to like just kind of be different and stand out. But it was like, do you wear and look like everybody else, or how do I put my spin on it? Like I always felt different than my friends that I had. Just those are the years where you're trying to figure yourself out, and those were definitely pivotal years for me figuring out who I am as a person. And so I ended up getting best dressed as a senior superlative. I was competing with another girl, and I was like telling everybody, vote for me because I remember when I wore this and I had this, and you remember I got this custom thing made, and so it was always there. And I think I started my design career really like in high school, just making things for me, whether it was printing stuff on t-shirts or changing my Nike sneakers, adding fabric to them, and printing for things for friends. I have been doing it since then, and so it kind of was always there. I think maybe in college it died out, and I was more so business minded. I remember buying wholesale knockoff clothes in college and selling them out of my trunk to the students on campus, because I was like, I always knew I wanted to sell clothes. So I was selling for a few years, not my freshman year, but I think my sophomore year, maybe through my junior year, I was selling clothing. I was like, I'm selling this brand, but I'm going to have a brand and I'm going to sell it. And I have one of my best friends now. She'd be like, I remember you said you was going to sell clothes. You're going to have your own brand. She's like, now you got it. So, but probably after I graduated college, probably from junior year to after I graduated, for maybe like 5 years, I didn't really do nothing with clothes. Like I still dressed, but I didn't make anything. It wasn't until 2012 that I kind of tapped back into that, and picked it back up and started to teach myself to sew and make things. And yeah.
I mean, that is, well, it's kind of like I love the story because you're bringing all of these pieces together. So I love you were marketing in high school. Vote for me, vote for me, right? Just in terms of, putting yourself out there and pushing for that acknowledgement of what you've been doing and bringing to the table with your fashion in high school. I mean, just the idea that you're adding stuff to Nike shoes is, that's already saying something. These people are trying to wear shoes and not crease them. So I don't understand.
I've been there. I did the same thing when I was in high school, and I see kids doing it now, and I'm like, y'all gonna pay for that later. Your knees gonna be hurting, and your shins. It hurts later in life. I walked those same halls trying to get my Air Force Ones, and now I'm paying for it.
Yeah,
so everything is worked out.
Everything comes full circle. We're not going to talk about hurting shins and knees, and we're going to move away from that as fast as we can. But I love how the two spaces in which you have had sort of passion, that is fashion and clothes, your interest in business. You have to love business to sell clothes out of your car. You have to, right? I mean, so they gotta have this together and converged.
Yes, this hustler's mentality, to stand outside and just watch the students walk by and try to convince them like, you need this,
Right. Totally. It for sure takes special people to be special talent to be able to do that. That's not the average person, for sure. So citizens Halo, no, citizens of heaven. I'm looking at your sweatshirt. Citizens of heaven. Tell us about this brand. So what can we expect, and where are you?
So again, Citizens of Heaven is a faith-based lifestyle apparel brand based out of Charlotte, North Carolina. I would say I sell anything from socks to hoodies to sweatsuits, t-shirts, jackets, hats, which I have a really best-selling hat right now that's like orders are coming through as we're here. And I have my own sneaker that took was like a 9-month design process and development to get done. So yeah, I have a full wardrobe, and I have grade school age size clothing, and then adults small to 3X. So.
Wow, small to 3X. So you
Yes.
really do run the gamut of serving the entire community, which
Yes,
is
yes. I try to
fantastic.
include everyone. I am missing infants. I have gotten a lot of inquiry, like, I need stuff for my infant baby. I'm working on it. It's just some things take time. I want to make sure it's right.
Yeah.
So yeah. So hopefully I can offer full family sizing and clothing by the end of the year. So
Wow. Okay, this is exciting. Okay, so you've got everybody. Now tell us a little bit more about the faith-based angle on this, because I think that's an interesting part of what you're doing.
So like I said, this is my third brand I've created, but with this brand, I felt like none of the others were really like hitting home, like not that they weren't like I think people were resonating with the fashion part of it. They weren't really getting the message. So with all of the like dark clothing out there and all the negative connotation that was happening with some of the bigger brands at the start of the pandemic or right before, with some pieces that people were made, I was like, I want a brand that when people hear the name, they see the name, that makes them go, okay, I can get that. Like, I want to know more about it. What is the meaning? And I have people ask, I have the about on the website, but when they come in the store, they're like, tell me about this brand. What does this mean? And so being able to communicate that with them. But I knew I always have faith-based roots growing up, like I said, in and around church. So I just wanted something that I knew it would be positive. I mean, it's like, how can I really be negative with the name like Citizens of Heaven? So I want to pick something that people, and including me, could be proud of, to say, yes, I have a relationship with God, and I do believe in God or heaven, and I want to express my faith through positive messaging. So like I have a really popular collection called the More Love collection, and there's no particular scripture or anything that it references, but there are several that you can find that relate to it, because it talks about more love. And so one of the wording that I use on the product, I use a heart that has my logo spread out in it, and on the back of it, or either on the front, but the main graphic says, it says the world needs more love, and it says and it's a picture of a world, and it says needs more love. And it's the best-selling collection that I have. Everyone loves it. And what I like best about that, I have some other things that I released that may have had a scriptural or an excerpt or something, but this is kind of universal. No matter what your religion is, in all religions, they all talk about love. And so I think maybe that's why it's the best-selling collection, again, because it just resonates with everyone. And so things like that, putting that on clothing, it's just a positive message that can go global, and it can, it can go past my local capacity. I've had people in Johannesburg, Africa. I had a guy to place a purchase for one of the outfits with that in that collection. I've had orders from the UK, Canada, all over the US. And so, yeah, it's just I wanted to create something that could not only impact a very targeted, specific niche of people, but have a global impact on people as well.
Well, there's nothing more global than love.
Yes.
Right? I mean, just in terms of sort of and our need for it. So
Yes.
that's
Yes.
I love that. I love the idea of it. Okay, so and just in terms of philosophy, it sounds like you really have anchored in that idea, and that informs the clothes. And I can imagine coming in and having conversation with you around, well, what does this mean, and what that does even for client loyalty and or connection with what you've built. So I think that's amazing. So what has excited you most about this journey thus far?
Just looking at how much we've grown in such short period of time has been very exciting, and just looking towards the future, there's so much more to do. Excites me, because it's like I don't feel like we've ran our course. There's certain things that people can start up, and it's like, all right, this is kind of, it was a in the moment thing, or it was just trendy, and it's like, okay, what do we do next, because that's over. But there's so much more that I can say, I can talk about, so much more inspiration I can put into the clothing, the pieces. And I think, going back to the philosophy part of it, if I was thinking this morning as I was, trying to figure out what philosophy do I really have outside of just my faith. There were three I's that came to mind. It would be to inspire, to impact, and to innovate. And when I say inspire, of course, I want to inspire others like me, women, African Americans, people I guess I'm a millennial or whatever the age group is. I think I'm on the tip edging out of it, but just no matter your walk of life, your gender or your sexual orientation, I think that I just want to inspire people who other dreamers who dream to do something, whether it's fashion, in the food industry, in the corporate world, just to inspire others that you can do something. And that leads to my second one, which is impact. So to inspire others to do something impactful. And I want to impact, the world globally. Like I said, I don't want this to just be a local thing. I think that through the designs and the craftsmanship quality of the clothing, I think that it will impact others in a way that they'll want to share the brand and the message. Well, and not just the clothing, the messaging will impact people, and they'll want to share it globally. And then innovate. And I know a lot of times when people think of innovation, they think of creating something that nobody's ever done, like brand new. But I don't really think that I need to invent the wheel, because clothing's been around forever.
Right.
I mean, there are some things maybe you can create that materials people never have used, but a shirt is a shirt.
Right.
A pair of pants are a pair of pants. When I say innovate, I'm thinking of taking old things and making them new. And so instead of, like I mentioned before, doing a t-shirt and just putting Citizens of Heaven, or putting like I said, Jesus loves you, or the Lord is my shepherd, like, how can I make it better? How can I make it better? I'm looking to make clothing better through quality, through the messaging, and the fit. Fit is very important to me, in making sure that things fit well, that they're lasting. And so those are the three I's. Three I's: inspire, impact, and innovate.
I love it. I love it. And I can't wait to actually get in here. I feel like you got something in that shop for me. I feel like you do. And so I'm always worried, like, my kids give me a hard time, like, am I up to date on what's happening? But I feel like, I think you and I, we're going to do something together here.
Okay.
So now, where do we find you?
So you can find me if you're in the area, in a radius of Charlotte, North Carolina. Again, at Carolina Place Mall, 11025 Carolina Place Parkway, and that's in Pineville, North Carolina. We're on level 1, again, beside PacSun in the mall, and then online globally at wearcitizens.com, and that's WEAR, because we want you to wear Citizens, CITIZENS.com. And then on social media, I'm at Citizens, CITIZENS of Heaven. And heaven is without the E on the end. So it's Citizens of HEAVN. Somebody had already took the full spelling. And that's on Facebook, Instagram is our most popular platform, and TikTok and Twitter. Yes.
Okay. So everywhere. Citizens
Everywhere.
of Heaven without the E is everywhere. So I want the folks to reach out and find you. They're going to see me in a Citizens thing very soon. So one of we've got two questions we always ask our women who are blazing their path, and clearly you are. What advice do you offer for other women who are interested in starting companies and particularly clothing brands? What are your big learnings that you would offer?
I would say just be authentic to yourself as much as possible and just show up. I know being in fashion, a lot of brands, even women specific clothing brands, are ran by men. And some people may or may not know that, but being a woman in this space and being able to create a unisex line, because this line is not specific to men or women, but being able to create pieces that are what some may call genderless. It's definitely been a lot of people, when they don't see the face, they assume that it's a male brand. And like, what's up, bro? Like, no, I'm a female and I'm creating, this is my brand. So I think just showing up, letting people know who you are. Don't be afraid to get in front of people. I think nowadays it's more important that people see who you are. A lot of that has happened coming from behind the scenes. A lot of times women tend to stay behind the scenes, but come from out behind the scenes, communicating with people where they are is very, very important. And just don't be afraid to do that thing. Don't let anyone make you feel less than, or like it's not your space. There's space for anyone who's willing to create it. So
I love that. I love that. And I think that's what I heard as you were talking with customers in the store about what it's about, and people asking you what it means. You show up, you're there. Yeah. And really available and a part of it. So the great advice about showing up for yourself, showing up for your work. Awesome. So last question, because this is one that I think women in particular struggle with, is how do you live an integrated life? And I'm interested in how you think about that, particularly as an entrepreneur. So how do you live an integrated life?
I think I'm still learning how to live an integrated life. As an early entrepreneur, balance comes up a lot, but it's okay to learn balance, but things are never going to always be level. They're just not. I mean, even now on this interview, I have family contacting me. I have employees contacting me with questions. And you just have to be available, but at the same time, set boundaries and know when to pull away so that you don't burn out. And so that's something that I'm still learning. My computer is always somewhere in front of me because I'm always looking at something or working on something. But I think that, you're not going to get it right in the first month or year, maybe a couple of years. But it's a steady learning curve. You're always learning how to make time for yourself. Sometimes I have to be like, all right, you need to do something that you want to do. If you have families, if you have relationships, just learning to balance those things out and just take time for yourself. But don't let one overpower the others, in a sense. Just knowing when to put forth the effort into the respective things and what needs to be priority at the right time. So
Yeah, no, I thank you for that. And I know that so many people will take so much inspiration from your story. And I know the folks are trying to get you because you're a busy entrepreneur, business owner, and business is happening. And now that we had a little snowstorm today, and now that the
Oh,
streets are
yeah.
opening up, I'm sure people are heading to the mall. So I
Yeah.
don't want to keep you any longer, but I thank you, Lavencia Ferguson. I am so excited for you, so pleased, and just honored to know you and to see your growth and your trajectory is very exciting and what you're offering to the world. So thank you for joining
Thank you.
on Blazing Your Path. You indeed are a model for all of us. And everybody, thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.